Ladies and gentlemen, this is what they're fighting for. The one last ticket to Daejeon. And all well, once they've gotten through T1, either team going to be facing them. Could be a telecom war or could be the Gen.G T1 El Clasico. We have no bad options when it comes to the final here for the road to MSI. As Varus going to be taken away first as we jump into the draft, and the Cassio also going to be leaving. I think Cassio's an interesting ban. I do feel like she has had some answers, but I think if you're going to take her away, the Orianna probably needs to be removed as well.
Cassio's just been on a constant Q streak to the point it's just dropped out the meta in the LPL, which is very funny considering how it's still super high prior here. So definitely not a champion, definitely a champion that doesn't have its weaknesses. That does have its weaknesses.
That's what I thought you meant.
Yeah, that's what I did mean.
Okay, good.
But some heavy mid bans coming out. Cassio and Anivia gone means that KT are setting up for a Ryze first pick. Gen.G, are you just going to ban the Ryze? KT are telegraphing it, or are you going to trade in this situation?
Jarvan or Ryze feels like the options here that we've been seeing a lot as far as the bans are concerned, especially in game number 1. Which is going to be slinking through? Or do they ban none of them? Instead, it is going to be the Jarvan taken away. Canyon not wanting to see Cuzz on that one. And now BDD can just go towards the Ryze happily.
Yeah, and I think BDD's Ryze has been pretty excellent. We've seen him have so much pressure in games when he's been on this pick. Now, though, Gen.G for the response, there's the Rumble available, which they can definitely lean towards giving to Kiin. If they so want to, they can look to secure pieces of a bot lane. In terms of matching the Ryze, obviously those two sort of typical counter picks that we often see are gone, but there's still like the Talia we've seen run into it reasonably often. There's also things like the Victor that can do okay.
Ezreal Karma.
Slam the Ezreal Karma immediately, securing that bot lane duo. And it's been, Karma's been slipping through drafts a good amount, but Ezreal Karma has been less common. Normally teams denying one of those pieces. Jayce is going to come through here for perfect. And then the Ziggs for aiming, reminiscent of a composition that we saw yesterday actually from HLE Game 1, which had Ryze, Jayce, and Ziggs in it.
And it was into Ezreal Karma Sion.
Yeah, this is actually...
We're just running it back.
Yeah, these are the same picks that we had yesterday, Game 1. I think the ordering was a bit different, but...
I also really didn't like the Sion in that instance. I just felt like T1 didn't have a lot of damage. It's not going to be the same draft because Anivia was in the mid lane in that one. Nivea's been banned away this time around. But I'm a little bit worried for Gen.G, unless they really change things up when it comes to the jungle and mid lane. I want to see Canyon on something that does some damage.
Yeah, and I think in this situation, one of the issues that T1 really had in the HLE was engaging onto and getting onto these backliners when they had, you know, the Karma, they had a Jarvan in that situation, which is obviously banned. And Gen.G here, banning away the Trundle, which we saw Na'Vi play yesterday, into the Sion, have so much great success. So Kiin's going to have a much better time than Doran did yesterday in this situation by taking out KT, hammering away at those engaged champions in the jungle.
A pretty smart move. I think this Fury value is feeling relatively high here for Gen.G as well, given the fact that you do have that meatball in the top lane to rely on. Canyon can be doing a little bit more of that damage. Let's see what they do decide to go with those. The Nautilus is going to be taken away from Effort, definitely one of his favorite champions.
There's still things like the Nocturne, the Lee Sin, the Wukong in the jungle. I feel like in terms of providing the engage, you're definitely looking more like Wukong or Nocturne. But the Lee Sin we've seen paired pretty well with even something like an Annie. Annie Lee Sin pretty strong. So we'll see what Gen.G opt to go toward in this situation. Obviously, they know the solo lane matchup as of now, and they really want something that can be able to lead the charge, close the distance on these longer range poke champions. And you are going to be playing through bot with this composition, so something that can set the pace early will go a long way. They're starting off with Mel.
Interesting.
Here for Chovy.
I actually kind of think this is fun based on Fearless Best of 5, right? Because Mel is also a pick away from the bottom lane as well. So as we get later and later into the series, I know I'm looking a lot further forward than I really need to. This Mel could really start hamstringing some of the options here as aiming locks away the Camille, and there is Cuzz's Lee Sin.
Look, I don't want
this is basically the same draft.
It's the Lee Sin for the Trundle, because Trundle was banned, but yeah, they just basically copied HLE Game 1 draft in this situation. But hey, it worked for them, so why not? Gen.G considering the Zhao, which, you know, is a pretty strong pick, especially paired with the Karma Shields, but in terms of closing the distance, you don't have the best tools to get onto these squishier targets. You do have a very strong front line. In this situation, you could soak a lot of damage. You have, you know, the rebuttal from the Mel that can block some poke. You have shields. You have the Zhao who can obviously pop that ultimate. Playing through the front to back for Gen.G is definitely viable, but they have to be able to reach these targets, and if KT just pokes them down from distance, it can be a little bit tricky. But I think no Trundle for KT is really going to make this so different from the game we had yesterday, because the Trundle just made the Sion basically unplayable. He couldn't operate.
And also, I think the Mel throws a little bit of a spanner in the works as well. I feel like Chovy will have a lot of agency to get work done on this champion as well. I think the rebuttal could certainly get a lot of value as well, with Shock Blast being fired around left, right, and center. Some slight deviations from what we saw in game number 1 yesterday, but a very similar outlook as far as this draft is concerned. That time around, it was a barn burner in that first game. T1 almost made it back, then HLE managed to win it in the end. But we'll see whether it is going to be a repeat of that or whether it's going to be something else. But it is kind of cute that we do have that extra tape from yesterday to compare how these very similar drafts are going to function in a very different environment between Gen.G and KT. Because so many of us do believe that Gen.G should have a large advantage just based on the nameplates going into this series and the form of KT over the last few weeks. Not at the beginning of the season. If that was the KT we're looking at now, maybe it'd be a different story. But let's get onto the rip for game 1. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for the first game of this best of 5. Winner will be facing off against T1 tomorrow, and the loser will be going home. No tickets to Daejeon unless they come as spectators, but they probably want to scrim or something like that.
Get some rest.
Yeah, it might be a good idea as well. But no rest just yet. It is all about seeing whether they can take game 1. And already, I mean, aiming and effort should be having a decent amount of fun here in this lane if they can just stand back and avoid Duro and Ruler.
Yeah, we've sometimes seen this lane with the Camille into things like the Ezreal Karma. If you play super aggressive around your Ignite early, even level 1, can have some pressure. And Ruler's gone for TP in this situation, so no barrier. He's a bit weaker.
Yeah, and actually going to get hit by that hookshot. Nice engage there from Effort, and there is a bouncing bomb connecting there as well. So Ruler already under half HP. Yep. They will hit level 2 first, though.
There's good time to go for it just before they hit level 2. Even though they're still losing in terms of prio, they managed to get that poke down. And we are getting some cross-map jungling coming out here. Split map, Canyon over here. And this is very dangerous for Perfect, who's pushing the wave in, really wants this one to crash and bounce away, so you can get to a safer position.
You can see Canyon nowhere in sight just yet, but certainly some opportunities here as Effort is roaming up, looking for a gank towards Chovy here. Canyon also posturing for maybe a punish towards Perfect.
Just saw a bunch of pings come out, basically saying that Canyon, he's going to path up towards here. We did see a ping, though, from Gen.G where the ward is. They know exactly where Perfect's ward is. If he walks up here, even with the ward, he could just die. But he plays back in the brush. They don't know his position, and Canyon doesn't want to waste more time. So Perfect doing a good job of evading that gank. Could have been potentially very dire.
And aiming, actually, the benefactor of this roam from Effort up to level 3 now. And I think it's kind of cute, sort of funneling extra experience onto a mage in the bottom lane. Give that little bit of an advantage. We see often that Camille's are sitting around at relatively low levels for a lot of these games, but I think it does benefit the Ziggs quite a lot.
I mean, that's one of the things with mages. It's true for Ezreal as well, because he's a very magey AD carry, but Ziggs gets so much power from points to his abilities, as most mages do. So him being level 4, having a second point in his Q gives a lot of power. Well, I mean, he should have put a second point in his Q already, but level 5, you get a third point, which feels good.
Well, right now, everything very even. About 100 gold in it between the two. As we're going to have a look at the counter jungling time. Cuzz doing a little bit more, but you can see the vertical jungling is the result of this. Cuzz does spot Canyon moving in. Flash out from Chovy there as there's effort going on forward. Tactical sweep, all he can really offer there, but Chovy now without a flash.
Yeah, good flash from Chovy there, able to get away from effort. I think a lot of times if you know the target's got flash, it's like, it's kind of a game of chicken. It's like, can I catch you off guard and flash before you do, catch you out? But if you expect them to flash and you just hold it, feels great. But in this, it's a trade. I still think KT very happy with that trade, but Chovy getting out and trading summoners, best of a tricky situation.
Yep. And teleport going to be used from Chovy to get back into the mid lane. BDD doesn't have that luxury as he's taken the ghost, as most of our Ryzes do. But being able to stick around and just put together a decent amount of farm. Effort and Cuzz now together looking for another opportunity as Chovy no flash. And there's a Rune Prison. Hookshot does come on forward as Effort tanking up the turret for so long, and they do manage to get that first blood. But man, that was pretty close, and Duro is able to get that kill back onto Effort.
Yeah, so Effort was trying to...
Whoa, a flash forward from BDD as well as he looks for the extra damage. Cuzz with the Tempest, the Q misses, and Duro is able to walk it off, but without anything left in the tank.
And Cuzz so low, so close to going down there, ends up being a 1-for-1 after everything. KT the ones who end up getting kills onto the carries. Killing the Karma not going to feel as good, but you're still fine with it. The Canyon's just farming in the meantime. Oh, level 6 hit.
Yep, Train is going to go past perfect here as Effort now moving towards the top side. He's everywhere this game. Gets the stun from the hookshot. Canyon making his move towards this top side. And Kiin will be able to get away with the help of his jungler.
Yeah, so Kiin trying to find an aggressive angle. We've seen him have a lot of success in these Sion vs Jayce matchups. But with Effort there, ends up losing out in the extended trade. Canyon is in position to bail him out, though. Effort just trying to make his presence known on the map.
Yep, and he is going to be going back now. See whether he does head back down towards that bottom side. But I have a feeling that he is just going to continue roaming everywhere else on the map. Aiming very happy here in this bottom lane. Just teleported back down there. Ruler is going to answer. And Cuzz clearing out vision where he can, looking for a crab now as well. Level 6 will be his. Off that one, and we're going to have a look at this play one more time.
In this moment, I think Effort was trying to wait out the rebuttal. Actually, no. Yeah, he was just rooted for too long, in fact, when he went for the... I thought he was trying to wait out the rebuttal, but he was just rooted, couldn't recast it, and as a result, ended up taking a ton of tower hits. So good play from Chovy there to counteract it. Read the target who get tower aggro fierce very well.
Yep.
To make it a 1-for-1.
Now, KT starting off this dragon. We do have Canyon and Duro in the area, but there is a lot of vision here from KT, so information advantage should be theirs. Decent little snare here onto Effort, though. It's not really going to be doing too much of anything at all. And Cuzz halfway through this dragon so far, and aiming with full control of this bottom lane right now, I think that means KT should be able to take this without too much of a response from Gen.G.
Pretty easy pickup in this situation. And honestly, all things considered, bot lane going super well for KT. The fact you're playing into Ezreal, Karma, and your Ziggs has a CS lead, feels fantastic. I mean, you can say he was playing range plus melee, but realistically, he's just been playing singular range most of the laning phase because effort just hasn't been there.
Yep. And Duro has needed to match him as well. And so that takes away a lot of the power of that duo there towards that bottom side. I think KT... understanding that leaving up the Ezreal Karma maybe isn't as dangerous as it could otherwise be, especially in a first game when you have all of these extra options, like the ones that Life eSports showed us yesterday in this Ziggs and Camille.
Yeah, if you survive the lane, and Karma's been nerfed a good amount, a lot of our itemization has been toned down in terms of the Dream Maker, Echoes of Helia has been toned down as well. A lot of nerfs on this patch to make her weaker in the late game. And when you have a Camille as well, all you have to do is just jump on one of the 2 carries on Gen.G, press ult, and then have follow-up. And you trade your life for either Ruler or Chovy, and your job is done.
Yeah.
So it's a huge amount of value when you're playing into a 2-carry composition like this. And if you get out of the lane uncontested as the Ziggs Camille, you're feeling fantastic in this game.
All right, well, Canyon going to move up towards his top side, just going to clear out as much of the protection that Perfect has for him. And in fact, Gen.G have a lot of control this side of the map, as Effort is going to get snared by Chovy, hit by that Q as well, taking a fair bit of damage. The grub's being started here by KT.
Okay, so Gen.G trying to move into position to contest this. One grub secured already.
Yeah, that's the first one. Safeguard available here for Cuzz onto effort over this wall, and will be able to use that to get himself out of there. Kiin at about half health, and Perfect continuing to soften him up, and it looks like KT wanting to go for something, although that Sonic Wave misses, and therefore they just get themselves out. So 2-1, grub advantage over to Gen.G.
Yeah, they ended up just taking away some jungle camps here, moving down on the map, aiming with so much pressure on a ruler. He hit a bouncing bomb on an alien, chunked him completely, and now he has to back away from the tower. Can he get out?
Well, Cuzz could just kick him into the wall here as he arcane shifts, gets himself out of the way. Decent little Q, but doesn't want to dive in a turret right now.
Save the flash, so feeling pretty good in that situation.
Oh no, Mega Inferno Bomb comes through, and that interrupts the back.
Yeah, no TP as well, so he's going to be out of lane for a decent amount of time. Ziggs getting tower access early feels very good.
Yeah, already 2 plates down there in that bottom side. And this Ziggs is an absolute win condition, and I am joined by the perfect person to tell us about that. As Aux knows, Ziggs pretty good.
Yeah.
At every part of the game, are we going to say?
Are we going to say what?
Is Ziggs just good in every part of the game?
In this game specifically, he's definitely, there's going to be a later point where he's going to struggle to cut through Kiin. But it just, you have to hit the right targets. Ziggs does so much damage, but cutting through tanks is not his forte.
Maybe not going to be building a Leandri this game.
Well, it doesn't look like it with him going. Ludens, I believe in the game yesterday, specifically into this bulkier comp, Gumushi went Blackfire Torch.
That's a cute one. That's all right. We've got a bit of a realm warp here towards his top side. Kiin just going to flash away. Effort gets over the wall, though, as Canyon moves in. When becomes lightning isn't going to connect as Cuzz having to safeguard over because the Sonic Wave went wide. And so no one going to be dying in that little exchange. And we do have Perfect able to move back towards the top side. Kiin now with no flash.
So able to get away from that situation. But one big difference in this game compared to yesterday's game is yesterday's game that Jayce was mega fed. And in this one, Perfect doesn't have that much of a significant lead over Kiin right now. On the back of that last play, he managed to get a bit of tower damage. He has got a bit of a gold lead, 300, but you know that game yesterday was a humongous lead, and the Jayce being so strong was a big factor. You also don't have the Trundle to cause all those problems for the Sion and turn him into paper if he goes too aggressive. So I think Kiin is going to feel a lot better than Doran did, and be a lot harder to deal with in this game, which does put a lot of pressure onto KT to get access to the squishier targets or just speed up the pace of the game and get a bigger gold lead. Right now, they are posturing around mid lane. The fact that you have Ryze, Camille, Lee Sin, this trio so good at setting up and just taking out targets.
Oh, Cuzz maybe going a little bit too aggressive here as he's not going to get snared by Chovy, able to safeguard his way out. And even though the 3 Talon Strike connected, he was already halfway out of there. So Cuzz going to be all right. Looked a little bit aggressive as another Mega Inferno Bomb just to be annoying.
And Canyon's going to keep channeling his recall here. Wants to go back in this situation. And a big factor is he hasn't completed his item. So Cuzz a lot stronger than him right now with the Sundered Sky. Canyon goes back and gets his. But it means he's not on the map, he's not in position to contest this dragon. And we'll see what it ends up being. Could be a big factor in this game. With Infernal and Cloud already not available.
It's got to be a Mountain Soul, right? And it isn't. It's a Ocean Soul this time around. We're starting a little bit slowly as far as the souls are concerned.
If you're KT in the situation and you're not feeling so great on the back of this one, Ocean Soul not really doing a ton for your team composition. If anything, Gen.G would have preferred it into the poke and with some bulkier frontliners. But it
can work for like the game plan that KT has, right? Like just play some smoke and mirrors and try and get that extra damage. And so therefore, like being able to get that health bar back could be good. As Duro going to get kicked back here by Cuzz. BDD looking for an angle, but Duro does have that Inspire. But there is the Rune Prison. And unfortunately, Duro not able to break out of that one.
Good pick. Seeing the Ryze Lee Sin combo on display, how easy it is to set up, especially on a squishier pick like the Karma. Duro burning both summoners and still isn't able to get out. And keeping up this pressure, really important, especially as KT don't really have souls or wincon right now. It's not going to massively push things in favor of them taking the game. So they really have to be pushing this gold lead forward and looking towards Herald and Baron later on.
Do you remember what the KT win condition was against D+, though? It was Elder Dragon.
Yeah.
Almost every game.
Yeah.
Whether they get the soul or not, the Elder Dragon was kind of just KT's. And so we'll see whether they can speed run their way there, where the soul isn't as important, but getting to that big dangerous dragon is.
In this situation, Duro just pushing in, getting a ward down, not seeing Cuzz behind him deeper in the jungle. And you can see now, if you look at the vision line, ward's exactly where Cuzz was before. Duro quickly learning his lesson on that one.
Oh, Q going to connect there onto Canyon, who does take a fair bit of damage here.
Cuzz is strong right now. I mean, I know he's saying items as Canyon, but just the burst damage available is a big threat. And now they're leaning towards Chovy. There is a TP available for Kiin, and he's backed away from the tower, so I think the communication's coming in. I might need help. And there it is.
Yep, he is not going to waste any time on that one. Just going to boost his way over here. This gives Perfect so much space, though. Canyon has to come over to try and defend, but now they know exactly where the jungler is. And so Gen.G just kind of being pulled apart in this early mid-game by KT. I mean, KT's macro, this is looking like some round one macro that we saw from KT, which was a lot cleaner. BDD able to cheat that Realm Warp over to the other side of the wall. The Gen.G do make it out, another kick, but a great snare from Chovy. Flashes, so the Resonating Strike doesn't work. The Overwhelm, not going to be enough, but Canyon will be able to shut down effort. Cuzz now taking a lot of damage, has to flash it out of the way, and the train coming on over. Kiin not able to hit anyone, but Canyon gets over that wall. Great satchel there from aiming to try and keep Cuzz alive, but it does not work, and Ruler is now on the board.
Gen.G managed to come in and punish KT for a bit of that over-aggression, but in the end, it's only 2 kills picked up, 2 for 1 in favor of Gen.G.
First turret went over, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now Perfect's trying to be annoying here.
Do they, like, KT are just interrupting backs all over the place. Duro is just dead. Yeah, really clean.
For the Sion to go back, knows it's an easy target, and now they can just look for this tower. It's satchel range for aiming right now.
Yep, he is able to just blow that one up immediately. So the outer ring at huge risk of just all being eliminated here, and that is KT moving that gold lead to about 2.5.
And you can see, even though Gen.G came in on the play and were able to catch out 2 members of KT, hold them accountable, it cost a lot in terms of resources. It cost a lot of flashes. It cost a lot of effort.
It did cost effort.
It did cost effort.
Yeah.
But we see in this situation, Chovy TP's this tower. It's such a dangerous play because there's 4 members of KT there, and he gets taken out. Effort does end up also dying because he has to extend pretty far for it. But then they go on this chase on Cuzz. Cuzz on the Lee Sin, super mobile. And because their engage isn't super reliable, it takes so long to catch him, and they have to commit so many flashes. Kiin with the final one here to get him down. And then this play, this was so smart. I think Duro just kind of knew maybe he was shopping, but maybe after the scrying trinket came down, he just knew he was kind of dead.
Yeah, it wasn't going to be many options to get him out of that one, as Kiin, once again, having to use that ultimate very defensively here towards this bottom side. And this Serpent's Fang really doing some work for Perfect as well to cut down that Soul Furnace. As now Cuzz moving in, just going to get knocked up by that cube. It gets the kickback onto the Sion. Kiin fully separated from his team, but the rest of them are moving in. Mega Inferno Bomb going to be enough to shut him down, but there goes effort as well. And the Zombie Sion is actually doing a fair bit of work here, as Cuzz will be able to finish him off in the end. A 1-for-1 top laner for support.
Yeah, we keep comparing Homewood from yesterday to today with HLE and KT, but they're playing the map.
Oh, really BDD just going to walk over, gets the Crescent Guard out of Canyon, who decides to go back in. Flash out from Perfect to avoid Chovy's damage, which is really starting to stack up. Still, KT just going to move back looking for soul point.
Yeah, some oversteps there. Cost Perfect his flash in that situation, but he's able to get away from it. Aiming, TPing in with a Shadow Flame. So much burst on this Ziggs now. We see that Gen.G are looking to try and at least contest some of this vision, but 2,700 gold behind it, a big item spike for the Ziggs. It's going to be hard to contest if they want to.
And Canyon also without his ultimate and without a lot of his health bar as well, as he's looking to take down this red buff. Ruler on the minefield, needs to be very, very careful as in goes Kiin once again. Hextech Ultimatum holds him in position, but Kiin's already starting to be a bit difficult to get through, and Gen.G are going to be able to move themselves over, aiming caught off to the side, but my god, the damage from this Ziggs is absolutely absurd. And yeah, Duro is probably dead if he gets hit by that one. Kiin already taken down. It's BDD that locks up that kill, but now Canyon in this pit. Oh, it's steal from Cuzz! Mega Inferno Bomb, and everyone is dead! dead. It's only Ruler left alive, and the Realm Warp will secure his fate. Is that a Quadra for aiming? It absolutely is, as KT are massacring Gen.G in this game.
This Shadow Flame Loon's damage spike is so insane and aiming. You can see his ult coming up so soon. He's waiting for the window, and all 4 members who are remaining of Gen.G end up in the pit. It's like shooting fish in a barrel.
And shooting fish in a barrel when your bullet is the size of the barrel. That's basically what it was.
Shooting fish in a barrel with a cannon.
Yeah. Oh man, Kiin separated here in this instance. It was nicely played. Gen.G able to get that one back against Effort.
Yeah, Effort super squishy at this point. He just dies. But, you know, his KDA is not really important, but here. So aiming's getting some good poke down. Look at the damage of the Duro. But then his ult's coming up soon, and I'm thinking, when's the window? When's the window? Does he go for Ruler and Duro, or does he go for the rest of the team? And then they come into the pit. I'm like, well, it's an easy decision now, and he just throws the ult in. It's so much value.
And the insult to injury there as well is that Cuzz also secures Soul Point for KT.
Yeah.
So Gen.G get absolutely nothing back for that huge risk that they took.
You know what? I'll say it.
Please do.
As soon as I saw the entire global side with 3-0 predictions for Gen.G.
I mean, Pony tried his best. He tried his absolute best.
But it's hard to explain.
It is. It's hard to explain just how much he was not able to curse KT by predicting for them. It is going to be this inner turret falling down. And it's a best of 5, ladies and gentlemen. We might be getting a little bit too far ahead of ourselves, but KT are looking absolutely phenomenal here. And sometimes, you know, like, if someone took the test and you could watch it the day before, why not just copy it? You know, it's the same exam as now Cuzz is going to have his ride stopped there a little bit as Shelly is taken down, so not able to get another charge.
It makes you wonder, during these 2 weeks, I mean, KT and HD win drawn against each other. May have been
that's a good point, as now Kiin separated once again. A great satchel as well to make sure that this Sion is just completely disconnected from the rest of his team.
Easy pickup. You know, I talked about not playing into the Trundle, going to make the Sion's life so much easier, but KT are just shredding through Kiin with the gold lead they have right now. So far ahead.
Oh, aiming, trying to get some information here. Canyon is at least able to tank up some of these bouncing bombs a little bit better than Duro, thanks to a bit of added magic resist here for the Xin Zhao. And Gen.G, they're not out of it just yet, but it's getting close.
If the Sion feels squishy at this point, you're not in for a good time. And I think one of the issues compared to yesterday is T1 had the Jarvan. You know, we saw a lot of that game 1 defined by snap engages. Gen.G don't have snap engage. They don't have ways to easily get onto the Ziggs or onto the Jayce. And at this point, when there's flashes available for all the carries of KT, what is your game plan for shutting down aiming? You just run at him fast and hope he doesn't...
Have satchel?
Yeah. Or flash. Or now rocket belt.
Kiin is going to have to try and do it again. Does use the blast, going to get himself to safety. Is now aiming is just hunting Ruler. Just throws a Mega Inferno Bomb at him. And he has to Arcane Shift over the wall to avoid getting Bouncing Bomb to death. This is going to be a dead turret. If aiming wants it, and there it goes.
Aiming has just been dominating this matchup.
Is so huge, man. 2.7k ahead.
I mean, you take Karma Ezreal on the first rotation, and you end up behind compared to a Ziggs Camille. It's not a good feeling.
And the thing as well is that they saw yesterday's games, right? But the Camille wasn't denied from the Ziggs. And Evans had a great game as well, as now Duro caught out of position, just slammed into the wall and taken down. Canyon could also be in trouble as well. Crescent Guard trying to keep him okay, but it's a great satchel charge, and Cuzz goes in. Now Kiin gets over the wall, and they do manage to lock down Effort. But now Kiin could be in an awkward spot. Perfect over the wall here. There's a Shock Blast being deflected by Chovy. That is all they're going to be able to achieve, both supports on the floor.
You could see the game plan there from KT. They're like, if we just get Canyon, we can go straight to Baron and get this game in the bag. But they end up overstepping a little bit, and Effort is still just so squishy. I think another factor here is he doesn't have his ultimate available. They get the kill on a Duro pretty easily, but when Effort goes in, he'd love to be able to ult here and just buffer the Crescent Guard and keep him locked in place. But that not available, the turnaround comes in, and Cuzz does survive, but Effort just gets obliterated so quickly. He's level 8 in this game.
Ruler is almost dead in this game at this current moment, and that is going to be the sole available for KT.
I think
the enemy
Gen.G,
not having an AD carry.
you just give it up. I think it's not worth contesting. It's not that big of a boost for KT.
Elder flip, baby.
Elder flip might be the game plan here, but they are looking to move in. Rula's TPing.
Canyon is taking a lot of damage, man. This poke is problematic. And Effort taking a lot of damage. He is able to get himself over. That is a minefield thrown back towards KT. That was cute. Didn't know that was even a projectile, but you learn something new every day. As Chovy now with some control here. They do move themselves in. Kiin is just taking shot after shot, though, from aiming and from perfect.
Yeah, they're claiming space, but they're losing health in the meantime, taking so much poke. They are giving some back, though, with that true shot barrage, but this is not a comfortable position for Gen.G.
KT is circling like sharks, and look at this. They're sharks with laser beams, man. This Jayce is able to get a lot of these shock blasts through. BDD on that flank angle as well, looking for a way in as Ruler is hunting. Looking to try and see whether he can dissuade BDD from moving over. These Mystic shots, some of them hitting, doing a fair bit of work.
5,000 damage from the Ziggs already.
Oh dear, Effort not actually able to move in, and that is Chovy finding the pick off. It's a solo in the end, actually, is now BDD fighting against Canyon as Ruler moves over. Kiin going to be taken out. There goes Duro as well. And BDD's able to realm warp his way back to his teammates. That is going to be the steal of the Drake going over to Gen.G, denying the soul. And they will now back away.
Absolute heist there from Gen.G to deny the soul. They're like, you know what? We can wait another 5 minutes for the Elder Flip. It ends up being a lot of good poke coming down on a Gen.G, but Effort goes in a little early. And the thing is, they know that they're playing around this brush. I think this was just a bit overzealous. Effort thinking he can just dodge away from the root. And then here in this turnaround play, it ends up becoming a bit of a manic rush for the Dragon. That Shock Blast kills Duro, unfortunately. But Kiin buys so much time, not just when he's alive, but in his passive form as well. And that's enough to push KT away. We also saw aiming running out of mana on the back end of the fight. So something they have to keep in mind in these extended poke wars.
Effort is absolutely a secret agent. Hook shots towards Canyon here. Hextech ultimatum. Nowhere for him to go. And down goes the Xin Zhao Crescent Guard. Just barely not off cooldown just yet as, my God, thank goodness for a rebuttal out of Chovy.
And honestly, thank goodness that aiming's ult wasn't up yet, because I was looking for the cooldown. Level 16 now hit.
Well, now it's up.
Insane.
And it's very big. That is a big Inferno Bomb. I think Mega's probably a good enough word. As, all right, aiming taking a lot of damage from Ruler, though. Mega Inferno Bomb does nothing if you're dead. As there's a Rune Prison on to Kiin. They're trying to dissuade the engage from the Sion. And Effort looking for an angle once again. Chovy looking to find him once again, and he will be able to do so. Pop goes the Camille. All right, Chovy knows his job. Just kill him so that he can't do anything, as Cuzz going to have to safeguard his way out of there, but Ruler looking a little worse for wear.
Honestly, just great plays from the carries of Gen.G. Ruler chunking out aiming, putting him low on HP, and Chovy finding this pick on an Effort enough to stall out the Baron and allow Canyon to get back on the map. This was such a delicate position here. Canyon caught on his Gromp, ends up just getting taken down. Not much you can do against a Camille who ults you 1v4 in this situation. And with him down, so Ruler finds a great angle where aiming throws the satchel aggressively there, and he arcane shifts over to get the damage down. Aiming does rocket belt away, but ends up chunked. And then here, Chovy fishing for damage on an Effort.
Oh, Canyon.
Canyon low again.
Does have Crescent Guard this time around, though. Mega Inferno Bomb will get it out of him. And that trade of ultimates might work out here for aiming, unless he just dies, satchels himself away, this time holds onto it. And KT, they do manage to push Canyon back once again. They get his ultimate, but is that enough to get them a good position here in this game? As the train says no, aiming, having to flash to get himself out. Kiin takes a lot of damage. It is otherwise going to be fine, and this is the price that Gen.G has to pay with BDD towards that bottom side. There's a kickback on Duro, and the flash in from Effort to lock down Chovy. The turnaround doesn't quite work, as there is aiming, grabbing the kill, but it's a double for Chovy. And now BDD in this backline looking to make his way in. They take out Kiin, and Canyon just dives on top, and down goes the Ryze. Gen.G writing a new script for this matchup this time, as Mega Inferno Bomb does come in, and wait, never mind, it's not new. They did make a comeback in the last time we saw basically this same matchup. for these champions. And Gen.G going to move over towards the Baron.
Now, Cuzz has Flash and Smite and his Elise in, so we'll see if he can approach and try and get a steal. They're trying to stop him. Ruler's getting damage down onto him.
Teleport in from aiming to try and offer that poke damage forward. Cuzz not going to get into the Baron pit just yet. They do get the information as there's a satchel just to be annoying. Effort's moved his way over. This is getting a little dicey as the rebuttal now. He's in the pit! Gets into the pit but does go down. He takes down. Oh! There was no smite in that pit for a moment because Canyon was killed. But it is going to be Gen.G that secured in the end thanks to Ruler. Chovy now has a very cool hat and a Baron to utilize with it.
That was so tense. They just changed places.
Yeah, it kind of broke my brain for a second there.
Oh, there was just a manic moment, but both junglers end up going down, and it's Gen.G who had control of the areas. Gen.G who get the Baron. The goal lead is closing. The soul hasn't been secured. It's 40 seconds till KT get another chance, but even so, it's Ocean Soul. They're losing control of this game, and things are starting to go a little bit pear-shaped for KT.
The power of Chovy in a lot of these moments could not be understated as Kiin once again possibly caught out, although very, very tanky is this man. Now able to get healed up and helped out by his teammates.
I mean, it's crazy this Sion just has 2 items when so many other people are working on 3 or 4, and yet still,
yeah,
just bulky enough.
Well, KT now looking to prepare for this Drake that's going to be up in 1 second's time. KT having to make their way through a lot of watered brush.
Oh,
could be very scary.
Again.
Yeah.
No flash, but he's been spotted.
Yeah, on that control ward as the rest of KT are able to protect him.
Chovy found him!
Catch in exactly the same spot. This time Perfect goes down, and Cuzz is going to be singled out as well. Down to the GA as in goes effort onto Chovy, looking to try and lock him up as aiming still relatively safe. Gets another minefield down, and my God, the Ziggs damage is disgusting, but it's Ruler that just circumnavigates him, takes down BDD. Aiming should be going, and it's a triple for Ruler. If it's not Chovy, it's Ruler in this game.
And they managed to find the fight again. Chovy with the massive pick. No engage. It doesn't matter when Chovy is there to take out these key members of KT, and Ruler comes in with a cleanup.
Oh my goodness. This Ezreal, 4 items now picked up. He is doing so much work, and Cuzz
just playing around
side.
Banana Brush. He's just hiding in the brush, dodging skill shots with the control ward, and then he sees someone step up. He thinks he can one-shot, and he does. And then here, he plays around the Hextech ultimatum, layers the CC with Kiin onto BDD, uses the stasis to survive, and then Ruler comes in for that cleanup. This was expert team fighting from Gen.G. And aiming did so much damage in that fight, but it just did not matter.
And now, what you were talking about before, about dealing with Kiin, is becoming a reality. As he's able to put a few items together, Gen.G find themselves a gold lead for the first time in this game. And a 6,250 Red Bull Baron power play is what they used to get there. Pretty impressive stuff here, and let's see whether Gen.G can hold on to this advantage and kill a Nexus. Which is what we weren't able to see when this happened in Game 1 yesterday. KT now able to get some poke damage onto Ruler. That is going to be valuable. They are still in with a fight, and the Ziggs is still extremely strong in this game.
Still such a huge threat, and the big thing is that Chovy and Ruler, the only 2 carries on Gen.G. If one of them goes down, I feel like the chances just plummet in a team fight. But they've itemized very defensively. Zonya's there for Chovy as well as the Rocket Belt. That's kind of become his namesake.
Did Ruler just go back and buy a full Frozen Heart?
I think he had it. I think he did buy it after that last fight. I'm not sure it's the highest value Frozen Heart game, but obviously the mana does help out with the mana immune. He is going for a Hex Drinker now to help against that magic damage. But they want to be bulky so they can survive against these threats, because if either can go down, Gen.G are in such a bad spot. Effort.
Oh yeah, caught out of position. Does manage to get the hookshot stun onto Kiin, but he still flashes. Now the satchel is going to get Canyon even closer to the carries. Hextech ultimatum comes on over. They're going to try and kill the Zhao, and they do manage to take him out there. Cuzz might just fall as well though, and True Shot Barrage separates effort from his life force, and KT gonna have to back away licking their wounds.
I feel like overall, that fight looked like Gen.G might be able to take it, but just the damage from aiming so severe. Even though Cuzz and effort go down, it felt like the ult that clipped Chovy and that one bouncing bomb that hit 3 people was enough to immediately make Gen.G walk away from the fight. We see here effort, despite all his mobility, gets caught out here. The wind becomes lightning catches, and then Kiin gets the decimating smash here. They then, though, just ult Canyon, chase him down. But look at this damage from aiming that hits Chovy. Oh my lord. And then they start to move up after the fact. But then look at this bouncing bomb that hits 3. And Gen.G just go, nah, we're good.
As soon as the bomb hit, you saw Chovy's like, nope, I am clicking the other direction.
That was enough. That was enough damage just to make you hesitate, make you stop. And it just shows that, you know, a few key skill shots from this very skill shot reliant composition of KT can make all the difference. All about hitting the right targets as well.
And you can see aiming had a very large gold advantage earlier on in the game. That has swung completely back around after that last team fight that Ruler was able to take control of. And he is now looking for his final item to put together. A 4.2k gold advantage here for Gen.G. And they've started to stack up these Ocean Drakes. You were talking about the value that Gen.G could get out of this soul. Well, Quadra Ocean Soul could be the option for them if they're able to lock down this next one in 1 minute and 15. Baron going to be up in 18 seconds time as well. And that is going to be a big one to look for here, as Perfect able to avoid Chovy this time around. And there's that more of Malmodius. Ruler is now maxed out.
Yeah, it doesn't have a typical armor pen item, but I think into this composition feels like it's not the highest value, even though obviously even on Squishier champs, it does make a good amount of difference, but just prioritizing bulkiness. So much health, armor, and magic resist in his build that he is now not an easy target to cut through. And I know there's a ton of damage on KT, but if you can survive a couple of bouncing bombs, it can make all the difference in these fights because KT is so skill shot reliant. That initial burst of damage not taking you down or just not chunking you to that low HP will make the difference here. Actualizer has been finished by BDD though, which we know can be insane with Ryze. And Gen.G just start up the Baron, reading the fact that KT were leaning towards the bot side, trying to make a play.
Yeah, and Chovy with teleport in hand. KT are still looking for this. Even though they know that the Baron had been started, they elect to hold on to this position. BDD can deliver effort to this turret if they want to, as well as the rest of Gen.G are wrapping around. Does KT have the information? That's the question. Is now Gen.G able to move back to grab themselves the third dragon if they would like to?
They're just TPing Chovy to safety past the dangerous area where they know that someone from KT is hiding. But like, you know what? We'll deal with it later. For now, our focus is the dragon. They know that there's someone hiding out in their jungle, but they're just not able to scout them out right now, and their focus is secure on this dragon.
Oh, BDD is going to move down towards this bottom side, wants to try and break open the base, I guess, in the meantime, as the dragon is going to be going over to Gen.G. The third Ocean, not exactly the most valuable. As effort, I mean, that's a dangerous place to be going back, but now seeing whether maybe they can get a catch onto Ruler, he cancels the back, but Duro's still there, Canyon's still there, and KT unable to lock him down. Still teleport back from Kiin, and now it's KT. Oh, the no! He almost just killed him, and he did! Oh, BDD gonna have some choice words for his support after this.
Delivers him on a silver platter to Gen.G, and now with the Ryze dead, with the Ryze was no teleport, Gen.G will no doubt be looking to make something off this, moving towards the Baron.
Oh no! The ultimate betrayal! As effort is now going to try and make up for it by trying to take down Kiin here. Mega Inferno Bomb is going to be avoided. And KT want to make a cross map. They are going to be able to take down this tower in the mid lane. That will go down very quickly thanks to aiming. Not quite able to get the crystalline overgrowth for this bottom inhibitor turret. So, breaking things open, that is 6 elemental drakes that have been taken down so far. Soul for either team next time.
The slow-mo replay betrayal.
Oh, no.
I think we are. Oh, there we go.
Poor BDD.
Yeah, walk away effort. You know what you did.
Yeah, he does. And we watched it again in slow motion. There's no escaping that one. If KT do win this and we get an interview, I really hope that that is the first question. So what went through your mind when you murdered BDD?
Long live the king.
Oh, perfect. Kiin now going to get tagged here. Does manage to ult to avoid getting kicked back. That was nicely done. Mega Inferno Bomb onto only a Sion, who looks like his health bar is going up. True Shot Barrage is going to sail over the top of them, and it's effort that goes down. Yeah, Kiin is immortal now.
He's so tanky, and effort is paper. Now, though, they're looking for them.
Yeah, looking for an angle here towards Canyon. It's Cuzz that dives on top of him. Perfect should be able to help take down the Xin Zhao, and there it is, down to his GA.
Nice, the
and
base.
KT are now also trying to take down Kiin. Ruler and Chovy, though, they have all the damage, and they're going to say, you can have Kiin.
Guys, they're ending the game. They're ending the
we
game.
are going to win the game. Exactly
Kill the
right.
Nexus.
Nexus turret number 2 going to go down, and they have so much damage. Aiming makes it back to watch as his Nexus goes poof. And Gen.G will go up 1-0 in the series.
So much happened in that game. A dominant early and mid-game performance from KT is